Hello, everyone. Charles Folkart here. December 31st, last day of 2016. Welcome, all subscribers and new viewers. Boy, I got some good information to share with you today. This will be the fifth in the series of Is This How They Fake Zero Gravity on the ISS? Except I think I'm going to name this one, This is How They Fake Zero Gravity on the ISS. And first of all, this is the first video I did, and I want you to notice the date, 19th of 2016. And I had a fellow here, or someone not too long ago, it says 2 hours, but it's been longer than that. They upload, or they linked to this video here, and I went and took a look at it. And I'd like us to go take a look at it together, shall we? Let's go. So here's that video. And it's water is attracted by a magnet, repelled by a magnet, completely non-magnetic. He's asking a question. I don't want to play this video. It's got music. You can't even hear the guy speaking. It's got this foreign language subtitles. But I'll put a link below and you can come back here. But I want you to notice the date. It's the 22nd of December. That was 3 days after mine. And I make a comment here. So I'm going to go and I'm going to follow the links in this video. And we're going to have a look at the links that this fellow refers to in the video. But let's begin with this one first. This link is not in the video, I don't believe. At least I don't remember if it was. But I wanted to bring us here, and I'll put a link below this video, and you can come back and read it on your own time at your leisure. But they're talking about electric magnetic diamagnetic levitation. They're calling it the invisible force. And you notice the date here, March 1st, 2001, over 15 years ago. I'm not going to read all this, but I want to bring you to this point here. Magnetic levitation is not new to the motion industry. In fact, many articles have been published about its use in transportation, particularly in monorails and in levitating displays. Magnetic bearings have been used in pumps, compressors, steam engine, gas turbines, motors, and centrifuges. And this article we discuss diamagnetism, a source of simple, straightforward levitation that requires no energy or control systems and which can last virtually forever. And then it talks about what exactly is it. And like I said, you can come back and read this later. But let's move on. I'm trying to find if there's anything that applies to what we're looking at. But oh, wait a minute. Here's something. Okay, yeah, here's what I wanted to bring up. Diamagnetic materials are less familiar than ferromagnetic or paramagnetic materials, although diamagnetism has been known since Michael Faraday discovered it in 1846. At that time, it was thought to be of little practical value. Do you think those white-coated scientists that work for NASA, do you think maybe they know about Michael Faraday's experiment? And it was diamagnetic levitation was first demonstrated in 1939 when small beads of graphite and bismuth were levitated in an electromagnetic field. In the 1990s, laboratory experiments levitated non-magnetic objects and materials including frog eggs, a frog, a mouse, liquid hydrogen, helium, and water. Again, this is found in that other video. I'm not the one who, I did not find this information on my own, but that's why I like the mastermind concept. People working together come up with new ideas. But here's this fellow. He's called the deliberate amateur. And this fellow's name is, it's right down here, Andre Geim. And it's a pretty interesting fellow. Let's scroll down here. And he's a Nobel Prize winner. And here it is. Geim won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2000. That was 16 years ago. For levitating a live frog with magnets. And in my experience, if people don't have a sense of humor, they're usually not very good scientists either. And I've long said, if you're not having fun in life, you're doing something wrong. And I'm having a lot of fun putting this together. The image of the flying frog first made the rounds after its publication in 1997 issue of the Physics World. I wonder if the white-coated scientists at the NASA with their $19.3 billion a year budget have ever seen this before. What do you think? There's the frog, the levitating frog, which is how Andre Geim won the Nobel Prize. I'll put a link below, but this Andre Geim, he says that basically he likes to go and do things that other people don't do, and it's better to be wrong than to be boring. And he's not held down by peer pressure or peer review. And I'll put the link there, man. I like this guy anyway. He's the non-expert. You know how they're always saying, well, the experts say we can do this and the experts say we can do that. Well, this guy comes along and he does things that they can't do because he actually knows how to work outside the lines. Anyway, let's move on. Here we at the Radboud University Faculty of Science High Field Magnet Laboratory and diamagnetic levitation. There's the frog. And notice this, they call it 16 Tesla. These guys, Tesla, Faraday, and this guy, Andre Geim, they're doing stuff that I think the other scientists, they don't want us to know about. On the other hand, the enclosed photographs of water and frog hovering inside a magnet, not on board a spacecraft, see, that they think the only time you can get something to levitate is when you're on a spacecraft. Is somewhat counterintuitive and will probably take many people, even physicists, by surprise. Here we go. This is the first observation of magnetic levitation of living organisms, as well as the first images of diamagnetics levitated in a normal room temperature environment. In fact, it is possible to levitate magnetically every material and every living creature on Earth due to the always present molecular magnetism. The molecular magnetism is very weak, millions of times weaker than ferromagnetism, and usually remains unnoticed in everyday life, thereby producing the wrong impression that materials around us are mainly non-magnetic, but they are all magnetic. It is just that magnetic fields required to levitate these, quote, non-magnetic materials have to be approximately 100 times larger than for the case of, say, superconductors. The water and frog are but two examples of magnetic levitation. We have observed plenty of other materials floating in the magnetic field. I won't go and read that. And various polymers to everyday things as various plants and living creatures, frog, fish, and a mouse. We hope that our photographs will help many, particularly non-physicists, to appreciate the importance of magnetism in the world around us. For instance, it is not always necessary to organize a space mission to study the effects of microgravity. Some experiments, plants of crystal growth, can be performed inside a magnet instead. In the case of living organisms, no adverse effects of strong static magnetic fields are known. After all, our frog levitated in fields comparable to those used in commercial in vivo imaging systems, currently up to 10, I don't know what T is. The small frog looked comfortable inside the magnet and afterwards happily joined its fellow frogs in a biology department. There is one important aspect in which the diamagnetic levitation differs from any other known way of levitating or floating things. In the case of diamagnetic levitation, the gravitational force is compensated on the level of individual atoms and molecules. This is, in fact, as close as we can probably ever approach the science fiction anti-gravity machine, and it's no longer science fiction, folks.
This is Node 2. This is a really cool module. Of course, most of these modules you see, they have 4 sides.
All right, welcome to the International Space Station, the tour. We're starting right now in Columbus. And if you look on this little iPad right here, there's a picture of the station. And right here, that's Columbus. So we're on the starboard side, kind of front area, and that module right there, that's what we're in right now. You can see it's, of course, the European laboratory. But it's not just European, we also have NASA racks in here, NASA payloads in here too at the same time. So it's actually quite new stuff over here. This is the EML, and Alex will tell you all about that because that's his little bailiwick. But it's actually pretty cool because it talks about magnetic levitation. It's actually pretty cool because it talks about magnetic levitation. It's actually pretty cool because it talks about magnetic levitation. And I just think that's a cool sounding thing. I don't know exactly what it's going to do, but it sounds great to me. And
we were amazed to find out that 90% of our colleagues did not believe that we were not joking that water can levitate. It became obvious to us that it was important to make scientists, as well as non-scientists, aware of the phenomenon.
That's so wild. Kind of push it in. 3, 2, 1. Oh, we made it out the other side. A little too hard. That is wild.
We levitated a live frog and other not very scientific objects because their obvious appeal to a broader audience and the hope that researchers from various disciplines, not only physicists, would never ever forget this often neglected force and the opportunities it offers. Opportunities for NASA to fake their zero gravity weightlessness on the ISS, for example. Here we're back at that Radboud University. There was something I knew I missed, and it's right here. It says diamagnetic levitation. An object does not need to be superconducting to levitate. Normal things, even humans, can do it as well if placed in a strong magnetic field. What do you think the odds are that the ISS is a strong magnetic field? Or I should put it this way, what do you think the odds are that within the ISS that there is a strong magnetic field?
It's called Node 2. As if you look out here, this is where the shuttle actually docked, is right through that hatch right that way. There's still a device or a module called PMA 2 out there. And when we get a visiting vehicle such as a Cygnus,
Again, and then here's what I want to get to here at the very end. As you might well know, all matter in the universe consists of small particles called atoms, and each atom contains electrons that circle around a nucleus. This is how the world is made. And there are those atheist types and those scientific types who believe in scientism. They want you to believe that they believe in science, and you can't argue with science, and it's a fact, and they mock the Bible. Well, here's the Bible, Colossians 1:17. And he, being Christ, is before all things, and by him all things consist. That article just said that everything in the universe is composed of atoms. Let's take a look at another translation to get a better idea what this word here, consist, means. Here we have the New International Version. He is before all things, being Christ is before all things, and in him all things hold together. Here's the World English Bible. He is before all things, or he has the preeminence in all things, and in him all things are held together. Jesus Christ himself is the one that holds the atoms together. Jesus Christ, the creator of the heavens and the earth, is the all-supreme being that holds the atoms together. People laugh. They say the Bible is not a science book. You're right. The Bible is not a science book, but it does contain the truth that of the scientific world that we live in. And that includes the flat earth, the level, plane, non-spinning, flat earth with a firmament above it. And that's becoming more evident that is the truth. It's becoming more evident, piece of evidence by piece of evidence, that is indeed the world that we live in, is a non-spinning level plane with a firmament over the entire earth to protect us from the waters above. Let's take one more look at Colossians 1:17, and he is before all things. And I love this whole passage here in Colossians. Who hath delivered us from the power of darkness, and hath translated us into his kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sin, who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature. For by him were all things created, that in heaven and that are in the earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. And the word I've always held it means held together. It consist. It's Jesus Christ is the one who holds the universe and all the atoms together. I'm going to end it here. Colossians 1:17, and he is before all things, and by him all things consist. You know, some of you may be looking at my videos, and I don't have a lot of views, and doesn't look like there's much interest in the things I have to say and the things I'm sharing here. But you know what? I'm not on Facebook, and I'm not on any of the other medias, the other social media. I'm only here on YouTube, so I depend on you to share these videos. If you have gained some information out of this video that's been helpful to you, that has been that you've learned something, I would appreciate it if you would like this video, subscribe, and share this information with others. so that more people can have access to the information, that the evidence that shows them they've been lied to, they've been their tax money is being used, $19.3 billion that fake NASA gets of the Americans' people money this year to perpetuate the fraud of the space program. I thank you for watching. Embrace the love of the truth, and may the grace of Yahweh our God be with us all, for we certainly need it. See ya.